You're welcome to Donegal TV and to our two special programmes which celebrate the strong connection between Donegal and the United States. Especially since our ancestors emigrated there many years ago, a strong trend which continues to this very day. Donegal TV visited 4 special events in Washington DC in the last number of months, the first of which was the 2014 World Affairs Global Education Awards Gala, which was co-organised by Tony Cully Foster, whose family originate from Fawn.
There's only one home sod, and that home sod is Donegal, with a bit of dairy thrown in there. And as you know, I'm from a mixed family of Catholic and Protestant, both sides of the border. And as my mother said to us all our life, just remember that you're twice blessed. So not only have I been twice blessed in terms of the Derry Donegal connection, but also in coming to the United States. I spent my first 10 years in Chicago, and then the last 30 years I've spent here in Washington, DC. I joined them 5 years ago to do a rebranding program for them. The logo that you see behind you, and there's a caption underneath it as a tagline that's normally there, called Where Learning Happens. And all of the funds that are raised by the World Affairs Council go into global education and international affairs programs and global communications programs. And tonight we had our World Affairs Honors, where we recognize outstanding educators domestically in the United States. Tonight it was Georgetown, President DeGioia. We recognize a global educator. This year it was a Qatar Foundation with Sheikh Mosa bin Nasser. And then we had, of course, Brazil being honored with our Distinguished Diplomatic Service Award. And we normally have a Global Communications Award. And tonight you saw CBS News and its chairman, Jeff Fager, getting presented with that award. Keynote speaker, Marilyn Houston, the chairman, president, and CEO of the largest defense contractor in the world, Lockheed Martin.
It was really an honor to be here tonight, celebrating the great achievements of some great men and women all around education and all that they're doing in international collaboration. I think it's very important that we talk about how do we work together to make this a better world? How do we focus on innovation, on education, and how we invest in those things that are so important that we can make lives better for men and women all around the world. Well, I think you can see by the attendance of over 800 people that this was really an event to celebrate all the hard work that is going on for international collaboration and for education, and I was just proud to be a part of it.
The Northern Ireland Bureau Business Breakfast meeting was held at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel. The hosts of the event was the First and Deputy First Ministers for Northern Ireland, Peter Robinson and Martin McGuinness.
In Northern Ireland we have our ups and downs in political terms, and I'll touch on that in a moment or two. But Northern Ireland has been transformed immensely. A very different place from what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. A new mood and a determination never to go back to the bad old days of the past. And while Martin and I come from very different backgrounds, we have different outlooks on many political matters, and we will have differences. On this we are absolutely agreed that we are determined never to allow Northern Ireland to go back.
Well, these events are critically important. It's a tremendous opportunity for politicians from the island of Ireland to engage with the Irish American diaspora, and the amount of support that we've received from the people who turn up at these functions and also from our visit to the West Coast has brought very important foreign direct investment to the north. I'm always somebody that looks at the situation in the northwest as a holistic one. Derry and Donegal, our fortunes are interlinked. In terms of how we develop tourism, for example, on the island of Ireland, it's very important through Tourism Ireland that we do it as a single entity to an international audience, because whenever people come to our shores, we want people to travel into the north and see the hidden gems that we have, such as the walled city of Derry, the lakes of Fermanagh, the glens of North Antrim.
Well, I have an Irish great-grandfather, so that makes me certainly as Irish as some of the congressmen who are at the speaker's lunch today. But it's a great opportunity to celebrate Irish culture. It's great that the leadership of the most powerful nation on earth still has this really strong focus on the whole of the island of Ireland. It's very welcome. I think it's a real opportunity to showcase what's been achieved across Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, because we need to promote greater economic links between the US and Ireland and Northern Ireland to get out of the recession that has been so tough, both north and south.
As always at these events, we don't have to look too far to find people with Donegal links.
I came first when I became chairman of the International Fund for Ireland in 1993. This is my 21st year here. I've only missed one, and I don't intend to miss any more if I can avoid it. You meet so many people who are here in the United States. You also meet a lot of friends from Ireland, both north and south. And there's a lot of business, a lot of ideas get discussed here, and a lot of practical stuff comes out of events like this.
I think it speaks volumes for America, the type of society that it is. It's a multiracial, multicultural society, and I think that we in Ireland can learn a lot from that. That it's a strength. The fact that people have differences in religion and is a strength, not a weakness, and they need to harness that energy and work together to move forward, because it'll benefit the next generations that come behind, and that's really what it's all about.
Extend a special welcome to Ann Anderson, the newest ambassador of Ireland to the United States. Ann is the first woman to hold this esteemed position, which means that, they might finally get it right.
On the occasion of the visit of An Taoiseach and Kenny, Ann Anderson, the Ambassador of Ireland, hosted a special reception at the Fairmont Hotel in Washington, D.C., where several hundred Irish and Americans gathered together to celebrate their Irish heritage and culture.
Irish people at home in Ireland have come to recognize this friendship, and it has really bound the two countries together. That it's great that so many people came from Ireland and helped to build America.
Last year I received my certificate of Irish heritage, and I didn't know that they'd gone back to 1850 something to prove it. But the fact is I had more recent heritage from the north. So I've got both. So my grandmother's from Antrim, my other side of the family are Donegal, from the Shields, the Conroys, the Quinlans. I'm emotionally connected, I think it's fair to say. And I worked for Tip O'Neill for all those years as this guy. I'm very much a believer in Good Friday and people getting along with each other. I was up there in Northern Ireland in Belfast for the agreement, and my heart's in it. I just thought when I was a really young kid that being Irish was the coolest thing in the world, because it just was,
What I love about this is the way everybody celebrates the cultural, literary heritage of Ireland, as well as sort of the incredible Irish diaspora that we celebrate here in the U.S. And I love hearing the Irish take on the need for immigration reform in this country, which I think is a really important message.
It's been a fascinating trip. We've enjoyed very much the hospitality, both of the American administration and indeed the Irish administration. So I think there's been a good spirit about it, and I hope that augurs well for the future.
The access that we get over the number of days that we're here is fantastic. No other country gets that such open access to the White House, to the President, to the Vice President, and to Congress as well.
The National Press Club held a special breakfast which welcomed Donegal TV and honoured the reigning Rose of Tralee, Hayley O'Sullivan, who hails from Dallas, Texas. The president of the National Press Club is journalist Myron Belkand and has a keen fondness of Donegal.
And I'm really honoured to appear on Donegal TV, where I have some friends. My longtime assistant in London, while I was bureau chief there for over 2 decades, was Eileen Murray, who lives in the Donegal town area and whose family is from Kilcar. When I retired from AP in Tokyo, we made a trip around the rest of the world, and we stopped in Donegal and in Kilcar, and we were so well received by all of the Murrays of Donegal and Kilcar. On my visit to Donegal in 2001, Eileen Murray took me to the McGee store where I bought this Donegal tweed jacket. Let me tell you, and I have to speak accurately and objectively, whenever I wear this Donegal tweed jacket, I get immense compliments. Where did you get it? And I said, I got it in Donegal. Make sure when you visit Donegal, you go and get an exact replica of the Donegal tweed jackets from McGee. It's, every time I wear it, I think of my very happy visit to Donegal. The National Press Club is known worldwide as the world's leading professional organization for journalists. We have more than 3,000 members. We date our history back to 1908 when it was founded. We are very proud that this year, since I'm the first president with a long international career, having been a bureau chief in New Delhi, London, and Tokyo, so that I pledge that we are going to internationalize the National Press Club this year, have more international members, more international events. And I would like to say to all the journalists outside the United States, whenever you come to Washington, please come by the National Press Club for a very warm, I would say, Irish welcome. I'm honored that we could host today the Rose of Tralee.
The Rose of Tralee is a festival that happens down in Kerry every summer, and it's really just a celebration of Irish heritage, and it connects people from all over the world. You know, they talk about everybody, the global Irish community spread throughout the world, and there's people everywhere that have Irish connections, and it's really just a festival that celebrates those roots. It brings people back to Ireland and it gets them back connected to where their families came from. So it's a celebration of women, it's a celebration of what we're able to do as modern women, and it's really just a celebration of all of that. It's been a great experience. I just in January was up in Ulster, so we did all of the counties up in Northern Ireland. And we did a few school visits, which I really enjoyed. It's just interesting to see the difference between how schools operate over in the States versus over in Ireland. So, and students are always so exciting, and it's fun to talk to them and get their perspective on things. We got to see the hills of Donegal and all of the things that come up in Irish songs and that are passed down through stories for generations. We're actually getting to experience it firsthand.
The most senior and former club president is John Cosgrove, who remembers giving President John F. Kennedy his membership card.
A week after his inauguration, he wanted to be a member of the press club, and in addition to the active newsmen and women who are members of the club, we also have a associate category, associate membership, which would include newsmakers and news sources. And of course, there's nobody better as a newsmaker or news source than the president himself. And Kennedy had started off to be a newsman with the Hearst Group in Chicago, but he wanted to be a member of this club.
Our American shows are being broadcast on the MHC network in the United States, and their chief executive, Fred Thomas, spoke to us about this unique partnership.
There's a lot of content that can be fairly universal country to country, national newscasts. A lot of the footage is the same footage used by other countries. It's when you get into the actual localities and you get into the specifics of a particular region or town, makes all the difference in the world. And so Donegal, of course, with its football prowess and interest, it's really, really important. And if I've learned anything about my time in Ireland, it is how passionate every county is next to each other. So I think it's a really important piece to have Donegal TV as a part of today's Ireland. We're taking some major leaps forward in that regard. There's going to be even more platforms. I think the news that I could tell people to step back on is that there's going to be even greater distribution. And I think the response back in Ireland for all the programmers that are part of it, they're going to be amazed at where their content is going to be seen in the United States.
Donegal, of course, is renowned for its beauty, and amongst the most popular tourist attractions for overseas visitors are Malin Head, the Inch Levels, Fanad Head Lighthouse, and of course Sliabh Liag right here behind us. Michael Heaney from Donegal County Council spoke to us about their development.
We're developing a number of destinations along the Wild Atlantic Way, a number of key destinations, which would include Sliabh Liag, Fanad Head Lighthouse and Malin Head, and inch levels where we are here today. If you take Sliabh Liag, first of all, Sliabh Liag are the highest sea cliffs in Europe. They're a spectacular location, very well known worldwide to people that would have an interest in that type of thing. It's important to get that access to it because people are coming in quite large numbers. People are coming by car, people are also coming by bus, so it's very important that you have the facilities there to welcome people and to make sure that they have a good experience. So the road access, car parking, coach parking, as well as the pathways themselves around the cliffs and the walks attached to the cliffs are very important, and we've been enabled with the assistance that we've received from Fáilte Ireland and from the European Union Interreg 4A Fund, and through the resources made available by Donegal County Council itself, to put a fairly good project in place there, which will bring it up to the standard required in order to cater for the very large amount of visitors that already come there, but that will increase over the next few years. Fanad Head Lighthouse, I think it was voted there recently as the second most spectacular lighthouse in the world. We're working with Irish Lights and with the local community there to develop Fanad Lighthouse. Now that lighthouses are automated, buildings themselves, while not totally defunct, aren't required to the level that they used to be. I think that it was a very innovative idea by Irish Lights to come to the local community and to ourselves and to say, now can we develop this as a tourism attraction, as a tourism product that'll benefit the local community. It's going to be a spectacular location which will have a visitor centre that people can come, they can visit, they can go up to the top of the lighthouse itself and see the spectacular views. And there's also going to be accommodation there for people that want a different type of holiday to come and stay in a lighthouse, a very authentic lighthouse experience, to stay there in a very spectacular location. Another important location along the Wild Atlantic Way is Malin Head. So depending on which side you start from, the Wild Atlantic Way either starts or ends at Malin Head. So again, a very spectacular location, the most northerly point in Ireland, a place that's been attracting people for years. Again, we're working with the local community, with Fáilte Ireland and with others, to actually develop that to its full potential. And over the past year, we've developed the pathways there. We're now improving car parking, coach parking, putting other facilities into place there. So we're on to phase 2 now, and phase 3 will see an iconic project being delivered there. So it's a massive resource, not just for the local community, but for Donegal as a whole, for the northwest region, and indeed for the island as a whole. Inch Levels is a world-class sanctuary for wildlife, for birds. We've been working with National Parks and Wildlife over the past number of years, assisted by the Interreg 4A programme, to actually put facilities in place here to make sure that the whole area is conserved to the highest possible standard, but as well as that, to make it accessible for visitors. So you can see around here now that it is very accessible. There's very good car parking. There are pathways built in a very environmentally sensitive way all around the sanctuary, so that people can take the 9-kilometre walk all around the lake here. They can use the bird hides and other areas to actually observe the very special species of birds that you can see here. And we're delighted to have this sanctuary here at the side of Lough Swilly, considering that at the other end of Lough Swilly we've got a world-class attraction in the basking sharks that are to be seen there, and that have recently been featured on international television. So in terms of the wildlife that's available here in the general Lough Swilly region and the general Donegal region, again, it's world class. People have been coming from all over the world. All of these developments are being done in a very sustainable way, because we realise that it's only by sustaining and consolidating the natural resource that we have that we're going to have a resource to benefit our community into the future.
The Donegal Diaspora project was set up to reach out and engage with County Donegal's global community, and they recently held 2 very important conferences here in the county, as Sean Perry reports.
Spearheaded by Donegal County Council, the Donegal Diaspora project is defined as the community of Donegal and those with a connection to the county, no matter where in the world they are living. Recently it held 2 very successful events in the Institute of Technology in Letterkenny, and the importance of reaching out to the diaspora was emphasised by County Manager Seamus Neely.
We want to connect with people of the Donegal community and the Irish community right across the world, because we know that there are many people out there who want to connect with us. So it's about doing it and doing it in a way that's not rushed or not forced, and where natural opportunities arise, then we're best placed to develop and capitalise on them.
The first of these events, the Donegal, Massachusetts Economic Enterprise Development Seminar, was positively received by those in attendance from both sides of the Atlantic.
Massachusetts has a real affinity to the Irish culture and Ireland, and I think that there are a lot of opportunities where we can work together.
Donegal, because of some of the issues and the troubles over the years, there's been maybe a bit of a stigma, and people have not been aware or exposed to Donegal and all that it has to offer, not only here in Ireland but certainly across the globe. And I think, you know, having events like this is a credit to the Donegal Council to be, you know, they're doing outreach that they've never done before, and in return, people who never would have come to Donegal otherwise are coming, recognizing the incredible assets that exist, like the Letterkenny Institute, and then looking for ways to maybe work with them in the future. And what does that ultimately mean? That means potential jobs, investments, both sides of the Atlantic, which I think is good for everybody.
We're delighted to welcome our visitors here today because, again, there's a possibility of developing tangible links, particularly with innovation centres in the States, and CoLab is now being extended, as you know, with the development of the Northwest Regional Science Park. So we see great opportunities for strategic alliances with similar innovation centres in the States, and we look at the possibility of businesses exchanging between the two jurisdictions over the next number of years.
Well, we have to continue this. We can't make it a one-off. We have to continue to meet on an annual basis, whether here in Donegal or in Boston. And I think that's a key to relationships, is being in person and connecting and looking the other person in the eye and keeping the relationship continuing.
The second Donegal Diaspora Conference examined the diverse history of emigration from Donegal and the impact that this has had on the Donegal diaspora around the globe.
I think it's fantastic, this conference. I think it's a great idea. You're asking phenomenal questions, difficult questions sometimes, because diaspora are difficult things, they're hard to quantify, and some people who have left probably don't want to come back, but a lot of people do.
There would not have been a Good Friday Agreement in 1998 had it not been for the role of Irish Americans and other members of the diaspora. If you go through Fortune 500, for example, and look at some of the top chief executives in the United States, their Irish background is immensely important. And if you go back to the 1920s, when this state was trying to find its own place, it was relying on the remittances of the diaspora. Those people who fled for a better life were sending money back just to keep their own families here. So we've never properly acknowledged just that huge role that they've played historically and continue to play today. And Donegal has got a very important role in the whole question of the diaspora.
We're a complex nation and we have many things that we should be very proud of. And I think that once we're very confident in our own identity, we can go out and talk to the people, like Irish Americans, for example, who want to find out more about theirs and make the connections and make people comfortable when they come here.
We can't allow people to forget what the Irish and what people in Donegal have given to the world. Glasgow, my city, just wouldn't be the same without the Irish diaspora, without the Donegal diaspora. People from Ireland have contributed greatly to make my city what it is. They built this city. They built Celtic Football Club, which is still a very important and dynamic and vibrant force in people's lives, going even beyond football. You can't put a price and you can't calculate how much Glasgow and Scotland owes to the people of Donegal and to Ireland as a whole.
Sean Perry, Donegal TV at the Donegal Diaspora Project, Letterkenny.
Donegal hosts a wide range of festivals and events which now run 52 weeks of the year, ranging from music, literary, arts, culinary, sports and many more. Donegal TV visited two of these recently, Grianan Festival and the Donegal Marathon.
Throughout Ireland, the summer solstice, and throughout the world indeed, it's been celebrated.
we're standing on the ring fort dates from 1000 BC. The history, the stories of Grianan go back into the mists of time. We can take it from the burial remains that were found here that date to 3,000–4,000 BC. So it's always been a holy place, always a sacred place here on Grianan Hill.
The main purpose of this is to promote Grianan locally, nationally and internationally. That's really what this is all about.
For the time of the morning, unfortunately the sun rises very early at this time of the year, but for the turnout of people, and this is the third year and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. Fantastic for Donegal and cross-border cooperation with Derry City.
Donegal is the natural rural hinterland of our great city of Derry, and Grianan Fort has a great historical past within the history of Derry and Donegal.
The best thing about this is the location of it, the scenery, and you can see in the background right into Inishowen, right up Lough Swilly as far as Fanad Head. It's absolutely stunning.
The music has been absolutely fantastic, just standing up here, the whole atmosphere, the buzz about the people, the warmth of the people who are here today has been fantastic, and the welcome that I have got as Mayor of Derry has been phenomenal.
We look on Grianan as custodians of the place, and we're very protected of it, but we also like to highlight it and show it off to people to let them know it's actually here.
We get people here to come and celebrate as a community, not necessarily knowing each other, but they're here from all over the Inishowen and the County Derry.
Well, we have a big event coming up here in the northwest in Letterkenny, in fact in August, and I'm joined here by Desi Larkin, who's the chairman of the Donegal Marathon event. Just tell us what we can expect from this big event here in August.
There's been no marathon in Donegal since 1983. We met as a group and we said, listen, let's change that, let's have this event. We have the wonderful facilities here. The amount of people now who are participating either in walking, in running, in cycling, and the one thing that we seen that was missing was a marathon. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to come forward with the half marathon and the full marathon. So really what we want to do is set up this event, have it par excellence, be one that's going to become on the map with regards to the marathon circuit, and we have a hope and I think an aspiration that the Donegal Marathon will be that.
And running the half marathon and the full marathon on the same day, I'm sure it's been done, but not that often, Desi.
No, and we wanted to do that because we come into this, even though a year ago, it's still people who are preparing for marathons do it very much in advance. They pick their marathon and they're going to stick to that marathon. So what we wanted to do was give them the opportunity obviously to run the full marathon, but to say, listen, why not come and try the half marathon here in Donegal, run the two events together. We want to create that cluster of excitement here on the day in the Aura Leisure Centre. We wanted to have a family feel and obviously have that economic benefit then that'll filter right in through the town, because we have as a town and a county put on some premier events, and this hopefully will become one of them.
You're hoping as well for very elite athletes to come here and take part in both the half marathon and in the full marathon.
We're earmarking the elite athletes. We're going through the magazines, the publications that deal with them. Maria Cambridge has indicated that she's going to come and run the half marathon, which is fantastic. Not only the fact that she's such a recognised international athlete, but with her roots here with Gary Cross, and that it is absolutely wonderful. We obviously want to see the elite athletes coming, but I have to say, a bit like the 10K, our focus will be on participation. This is an opportunity to have something that nobody has done in over 30 years nearly, and we want it to be, when some people look back and now they have this collector's item, we're going for quality stuff, charity, we're going for quality t-shirts, quality medals, we're going to make sure that the infrastructure is in place, because this is something I'd like to see sustaining itself way into the future, and Donegal Marathon will become the one that people want to participate in.
So get the walking and running shoes on as soon as possible, Desi. Is that the final message?
Totally, and we're on Facebook, we're on the website donegalmarathon.ie.
The advice to everyone is get the running shoes on. We'll look forward to a great event later on this summer here in Letterkenny. This is Charlie Collins for Donegal TV at the Letterkenny Aura Centre.
Well, that's it for this week's programme. Don't forget, as always, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our website at donegaltv.ie. From all of us here at the team, Slán agus Bannon.